Okay, so I saw a couple of questions on the Facebook group for the Helix the other day. One of my favourite things about the Helix is not only is there a great piece of hardware that sounds really good and is really cool to use, I'm going to show you something else about this, but there is also quite a, and I think it's probably the most active community online of people not only asking questions but also people making content. Content's a horrible word, isn't it? But videos and stuff that is sort of designed to help people. So I'm one of those people, hopefully. Steve Stalacci is another one of these people. Jason Sadites is another of these people. Alex Price is another of these people. And I'm going to miss a bunch. Ben Vesco is one of these people. And sorry if you watch my channel, your name is not included. But yeah, you know, there are lots of them. I can't name them all in one go. That would be stupid. Right, anyway, so one of the questions was, so stomp snap mode is, by the way, where you have stomps along here and snapshots along the bottom. You can get to this mode, global settings, then foot switches, and you see here we've got stomp mode and preset mode switches. So preset mode, you can see you can have 8 presets. So here you'd have just presets along here. You can have preset and stomp mode, so you have presets here and then stomps which you can allocate down here. You could have stomp presets, so stomps up here and presets along the bottom. You could have presets along the top, snaps along the bottom. So you could have snaps along the top, presets along the bottom even. You could have snaps along the top and stomps along the bottom. Or you could have stomps along the top and snapshots along the bottom, which is my favourite way to do it, purely because that's basically how I used to run the, whatchamacallit, Pod XT Live. This was sort of the way that it looked for me. When it comes to actually assigning things, so let me just to like a blank preset or something more blank. So for instance here, you will initially start off with snapshots along the bottom, and along the top you should have blank spaces like this. So let me just clear these assignments. So this is the really cool thing about the Helix. If you touch where you've got the assignments, you have this thing called capacitive touch, where you can see what is assigned to each thing. You can cycle through and see which things are applied to like a multiple, and also when you touch it, it automatically goes to the block that is assigned. So if we want to remove assignments, first of all, to get to a blank kind of space, we go to this bypass assign here. And you see, basically, this is how you do it in the LT as well, I think. So you got foot switch 3 here. We can change that to none. And then if we touch this one, we could also bypass assign. You can use this to scroll along, I think. Is it? Or not scroll, you just go along like this. Right, so change that to none. And this one here also changed to none. So you will basically start off like this, and so the process is you find whatever you want to assign to a foot switch, highlight it here, so you see the little kind of whatchamacallit here is going white around the outline of what you've got selected. Then you're going to touch capacitive touch here and assign foot switch to bypass selected block. So if you see it, it will go away if you don't do it, and then you press OK. The other way that you could do this is you could go select your who's or what's it, and you go bypass assign, dual delay, foot switch 3, like that, right? And you could stay in this bypass assign thing if you want to, and assign things in this way. Okay. Now the other thing that you could do is you can either, so let me show you this. If we go like this and touch here, you'll see you can either merge or replace the existing assignment. Okay, so if I press replace, you will then see that crisscross takes over from what was there before. And if I then touch it and go merge, it will become a multiple assignment thing. So that's really powerful and a really quick way, I find, the quickest of all of the modelers that I've used to actually build foot switching presets and It's just really powerful stuff. One of my favorite things about the Helix and the HX Stomp and the HX Stomp XL. The other question that I saw online was about self-oscillation. So what we're talking about was what I was doing in the introduction there, and I'll just show you what the basis of this is. So two delays that I know do this. You're going to be wanting to look for analog style delays. So Cosmos Echo is the easiest to do this with, but what we're talking about, that kind of non-linearity thing where it kind of starts to feed back, starts to self-oscillate, and the delay loop kind of starts to, what would you call it? It starts to kind of gain momentum. In that kind of way. So what I like to do is set up a feedback switch in this kind of way. And this is what a fellow was asking online in the Facebook group. So you see here, let me start from scratch here. So I'm going to just get rid of this assignment to start with. So I've got my Cosmos Echo, right? And I've got it turned on. So first of all, I would turn the headroom up here to +12 to try and avoid clipping where possible. And I would set the mix to where you want it. And the default feedback setting will be 38%. What you want to do is experiment with increasing this. And you will notice that the feedback is really sensitive on Cosmos Echo and can give you this self-oscillation thing. So what I would do is find that sweet spot that you're looking for, and then when you hold this in here, you get this menu here. So feedback is the parameter that we're interested in. Controller, this would be foot switch 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So foot switch 7. We got type, so we can have it latching or momentary. For this sort of thing, I would suggest momentary is better, because you can then take your foot off when you want it to stop self-oscillating. Otherwise, you can sometimes get stuck with it on. Choose your minimum value, so this will be like your normal, and then choose your maximum value, and this will be kind of where it starts to get to the self-oscillation that you are wanting to hear. So let's try 61%, and now you see, as I hold that in, it increases to 60%. Now if I change this to be latching, you'll see that you get, with it pressed in, you're going to get self-oscillation, and with it pressed again, you get rid of it. So let's change that back to momentary. So now that's how you can set up a self-oscillating kind of delay mash type switch on the Helix, on the HX Stomp as well, and the HX Stomp XL. Really, really cool stuff. I've done the same thing with the Adriatic delay. If I touch here, you will see the feedback here. The spots are going to be different depending on which model you're using. They don't all self-oscillate, but here I've got the minimum value of 50%, the max 100, and you'll hear. So there are many things that you could do this with. You could obviously do this with basically any parameter on the Helix as well. So you could have momentary switches or latching switches that change any parameter in any effect. Very powerful stuff. But hopefully that's vaguely helpful to one or two of you that were wondering how you can do some of this stuff. You can equally assign multiple parameters to the same switch. So the process would be the same. So we could change I don't know, WoW Flutter, and that could increase or decrease with the same foot switch. Just put it to the same foot switch and set our minimum and maximum values. And yeah, you can also customize these switches. If I go to action, you can also clear controllers, clear all controllers if you wanted to get rid of all of these and start again. But yeah, I'll catch you in another video soon. Let me know if you want me to drop this into the folder to have a play with it. And thank you for stopping by.